They are entirely dependent upon their magic. If you don't have a good spell in the first couple spell levels, they're filler. They don't even and it is. We had chat asking for it earlier, and it's happened. Black mages with their black mage start, all black mage all the time. I hope you like things dark. Lit 3, though, Lit 3 is nothing to complain about. That is a good early sweeper, and they now have a lot of firepower to throw at the imps they're going to be killing.
Well, survey says, let the games begin.
I saw Heal 2 and Ruse over in the white magic shop that Dangwu checked. Caleb didn't even bother with it. Saving time right now, but if he gets a white mage layer or a red mage and he's wondering what might be available to them, he's going to have to come back and check. That's a couple seconds he'll have to make up later.
Yeah, let's see what's gonna go on right now, so...
Caleb getting one of his black mages taken out by the imps, but does manage to get 3 levels for 2 of his black mages, goes back into town. I'm sure we're going to see a quick revive and then a heal up, and maybe he'll go try a little further. Meanwhile, Dangwu, already off at Toph, although didn't put a save up on outside, gonna try and see what's available there so he can get some items.
Well, did they were just wipe to just cremate zombies just now on the...
Pretty sure, I mean, they're black mages. I mean, any low-level spell is gonna destroy a black mage. They have nothing in the way of health at this point in the game. Does immediately find a cabin, though. If he can get away from this, he could save his party, and... Oh, there he goes. A little bit of a brief click forward. I don't think he checked the upper chest, though, immediately going into Garland, so he can kill the big fiend, and... Garland has Sleep Touch. That's a...
Well, actually, he just got gold and a soft potion from the top chest.
Okay. So he did check the tops. I missed that. Cube... And Canoe! Oh, Canoe's going to open up a good portion of the world. They're going to be able to go in both directions now and explore the world at their leisure. So I'll be curious to see where they go. Going off to the right and around from Provoca and down through the Ice Cave rivers is going to open up an extra town for them so they can check their spells and see what's available. So we got some questions in chat from Tataru. I'm apparently terrible with names here. About what exactly is going on. Although we did discuss this once before, I will go over this again. Yes, you are watching the Final Fantasy Randomizer, and there are a number of speed hacks that we have implemented into the game. Menus are going to look much faster. All the menuing and options and transitions between towns and all the other screens, so much faster than you're used to. Run speed has been increased, and they are, in fact, it's not just the basic movement speed, but it is run speed as well, which is on by default. So if you, for instance, if you want to move slower, you actually hold down the B button to make your character move at a slower speed to be able to quickly navigate through certain areas where you need precision, although they won't be doing that for the most part. It's mostly used for, like, landing your airship, which is super fast. Also, you will notice that we do have Tavern. And Tavern mode allows them to recruit random classes at the various clinics in town, which have been replaced now by pubs, as you'll see up here on Caleb's screen. The pub will have a class in it, as this on-rack here at Provoca had the Thief, which Caleb didn't care about at all. And then you can just travel around and pick up your parties and get various party members as you need to. There's a few of the twists and quirks about Tavern mode that we'll cover as they show us those classes as they get to them and they do various things with them. But there's a lot you can do with Tavern mode, and it's very powerful. So, Chitin, would you have taken a Thief there, or you think you're good with your Black Mages?
I would have taken a Thief because ninjas need some respect right now. And by the way, Caleb did wipe earlier with the poison mad points, actually.
Well, and I see something in this Imp Grimp. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff. The Imp Grimp Wolf Pack had Rub, and I think that was a level 3 magic spell as well. They are not fun at all. He is starting to save scum. That's wise.
And for those who like steak, well, Tyro is in your services right now.
Well, it was, but their rare their meat is too rare for us just yet.
And speaking of grinds, Ding was going for the Peninsula Power grind right now.
It's not bad. The Lit 3 spells are going to work pretty well. You can see they're already starting to take out these zombies and trolls. Unfortunately, one of the zombies took out one of the black mages that he wanted, but he already got his spell casting off. And honestly, that's extra experience to be distributed to the other three. I might not care so much if I lost one of my black mages there. Just hope I can kill them a little better the next time. Ooh, zombies have cremates. That hurts.
Yeah, so survey says I will try to avoid it as much as possible unless RNG hates my gut.
Well, the giants hit hard, but don't seem to have any spells on them just yet, and they don't have a lot of health. A couple Lit 3 seems to take that out, and that's a little extra XP for the 3 still left standing. I mean, I can't say I blame Dangwu for wanting to do this pop grind while he's here. He's got Lit 3, which primes him to go check out the river systems, and he's got 3 very squishy mages. Like, if you want to survive the river system and not die to what might be down there, you need the health available to you.
Yeah, but unfortunately, if it was Fire 3 instead of Lit 3, I would have done the grind a lot faster because zombies are actually vulnerable to fire.
Yeah, they're much more susceptible to it because of the undead. The undead are weak to fire. It's a quirk that I had to learn when I was first playing this randomizer, is the fact that, as in the original game, the undead will take damage from harm. Harm is the white magic spell primed to take out the undead, but they aren't actually weak to it. There are weaknesses in the game for the magic system, and enemies will take extra damage from a spell they are weak to. But they aren't actually weak to harm, they're just susceptible to it. Fire is their actual weakness. Here in Elfland, we have Provoca, and there's a fighter at the tavern, and Caleb doesn't care. Interesting. He wants his ice and his lightnings instead, and he wants to go to town.
That'll be a regret in my opinion, because a fighter can tank you like a champ.
Well, the thing to remember, and I know this is a game that Caleb plays with the Tavern mode, is that just because you have the classes out right now, like you don't take your fighter or you don't take your thief that will become a ninja, doesn't mean you can't get them later. That building is always sitting there. And I know Caleb likes to use his magic casters to grind for levels and then hire in, like say he grinds to level 22 with the black mage, hire in a black belt or a fighter at 22, and then use them instead to his advantage with all the levels transferred over, because Tavern mode lets you hire in a character at the level of the character you're replacing. It's a benefit for him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back later and picks up that fighter, unless he goes all the way to like mid-30s, early 40s and grabs black belt.
Well, let's see what the pirates will give out. Let's see what Vicky's have been guarding these years. And it's the Oxyale, so you have access to the Sea Shrine, but way too early to go there right now.
Yeah, I mean, if they're feeling spicy, I could 100% see them deciding to go over there and maybe wandering over to the mermaid side to dig for treasures. Now that it's open and they have those Lit 3s, it's a potential that they could survive down there. They got 3 Lit 3 casters, like, why not? Maybe just try and play it a little fast and loose, get some levels, and get some good gear. Trick is, of course, the fact that you gotta survive down there, and that's not always easy.
Well, surprise, surprise, the Caribs have slow, but they was just, nah, I'll just grind on these fishes for now.
Yeah, I mean, the Caribs are decent experience for the area they're at. I'm a big fan of the walking grind, grabbing levels where I can with the charges and the availability that I have. And I mean, he's got towns everywhere, although that one's Lithane, so not exactly helpful. Yeah, no, I would totally take some of these Carib fights while they're there. They show up in good patterns.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you know what happens in Lithane. You cannot understand their language until you get this lab and translate it to the doctor.
So we had some questions in chat about what exactly the flags are that's going on for some of these things. Open progression is on. That means that the characters can walk all the way from Canaria over to the Dwarf Cave on one side, and they can walk from Canaria all the way to the river system, and if they have the canoe to travel the river system, travel into the river system and get all the way from up by Pravoka to down by Crescent Lake. It also inserts a couple docks in certain areas, but it does also mean a couple of very specific edits are not on because it's only open progression instead of extended open. The dock over by where the airship desert, the Ryukon desert, is not on, so you have to find the canoe and the ship, or just the canoe and travel down there on foot the long way to be able to get in there. They have the canoe, they can do that, they get the floater. The other thing that you have to note is that the river over by Astos' castle does not have a break in it, so you cannot go from the dwarfs area over to Astos' castle without having the canoe, which again they do, so it's a moot point on this particular edit, but still worth noting.
With that said, I believe Caleb's heading to Ice Cave. Maybe checking on the eye treasure, see what lies beyond that.
Well, it's an incentivized area. I cannot blame him for wanting to come over here and do this. Again, he's making all the right moves, checking the early areas, trying to get the key items so he can get the experience bonus and just get his progression going. He doesn't have the ship. He doesn't want to have to go into Marsh Cave, which might be, nothing. This is pretty much one of the only places that has an incentive item left to him, so he's got to check it. Yeah, without the two loose items potentially out there, it's a question of where would you go, and if you're going to have to check treasure chests and dungeons anyway, I'd check Ice Cave first, because there's at least one guaranteed item.
Well, speaking of parties, Daewoo's now rocking with two black mages, a fighter and a thief right now, which is usually the go-to party for anyone who's starting out, but he doesn't have a white mage, but that'll be later on because we know the fighter can learn some white magic in the later runs.
Yeah, I like the fighter. I think having the fighter here, as long as he can get away from the Grahams and stop getting rubbed, that's an interesting call. I also like having the thief in the party, although with 3 black mages, the thief's value is a little short, but maybe he really wants that ninja and is just like, I'm gonna buy him now and not have to worry.
And Youch Caleb just wiped to rates, just rocking them hard.
I mean, I like this spicy move, I like what Caleb is doing, but his black mages are not high level from where they need to be, and they just don't have the...
And
it's a risk.
I believe Daewoo is heading to Marsh?
Marsh. Yeah, locked is the incentivized area, and he doesn't have the key, but that doesn't mean there isn't something down here. And bear in mind, he's got a fighter. He needs to find the 2 to potentially 3 loose items, and that means there's a lot of gear out there for him to find. He may be banking that Marsh was the lucky place to get an incentivized item, and that what he needs to continue exploring the world is lurking down here.
Plus,
and as Asher notes in chat, more than likely, Dang is also playing the odds of, is Caleb going to bother doing this? And likely, no, Caleb.
Well, that's the origins of Daewoo strats.
Ooh. Daewoo's thief is now looking a lot more interesting. There's a katana lurking down in Ice Cave, so if they find that tail, they have the means to make that thief really nice.
And we all know that the katana is the strongest weapon, technically, for the ninja compared to the Masa.
It's a Vorpal plus, essentially, from what I understand. It's like Vorpal times 1.5, essentially, as far as what the thief can do with it in his... I really hope Caleb has some heal pots. Okay, he's got a few. He can get himself up some again. But I guess the upside of 2 black mages is that they just don't need that much healing to get back up to full. The downside is, they just don't need that much healing because they don't have that much health.
Well, let's see what Daewoo's gonna dig out right now because he's about to go for the big floor right now.
Yeah, so far I haven't seen anything from Dangwu that like merits this run being all that great down here. We do have an Arub shirt, which is honestly not the worst of the 8 spells to find here. Like we do love mocking the various random spells that come onto these magic items because magic item shuffle is on, but Arub is actually halfway useful. And we can see Caleb's gamble down here was right. The ship is here, which means you have to come to Ice Cave if you want to explore the world. The only way that could not be the case is if the floater is lurking somewhere in Marsh or in Volcano, because we've seen just about, ow, everything that's here, ow. This is kind of painful, ow. Oh, there goes Caleb.
Well, frost dragons will not be tolerated.
That's rough. And now that Caleb has the knowledge, that's good. But unfortunately, he didn't leave here with the ship. That's bad. I'm not gonna say it's a total time loss because let's face it, Dangwu is up here in March, not finding much of anything. But it's gotta feel bad.
And I believe Dingu's heading up to the north side of Marsh right now.
Yeah, he went south first. I think he was doing chest density, and south has more. He was really praying that there was going to be a key item lurking in Marsh, and he didn't find anything yet that justifies it.
And folks, if you're wondering who's fun to see, I'm the guilty party, so blame everything on me on this point.
Honestly, you gave them Thief, Fighter, and Black Mage as their starting classes, and then they've got Lit 3 and Ice 3 early because Provoka was lurking over at Elfland. I'm thinking you were pretty kind, all things considered. The worst we've seen is a ship lurking in Ice Cave. That's not really all that bad.
Well, Flame Sword for Dangwu, so that's a nice pickup for the fighter, actually.
That's a good mid-level sword for the fighter to have. There's a fighter lurking at Lufane as well, so fighters in 2 places. And Caleb deciding, maybe I will take that fighter after all. Let him just wear some crap armor, get a few levels on him, and be a meat shield, so I don't have to worry about my black mages anymore. Good call, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the only thing that hurts right now for the parties is where's all the heals they can get?
Yeah, I would be surprised if he wanders over to Volcano right now. I'm sure he's going to prove me wrong in just a second. My bet is he wanders over to Provoka and gets some heal pots, and at least in that respect has healing available to him. But as I said, he proves me wrong and he wanders up towards Volcano area.
Well, Volcano is not bad though, so it could be because remember the big armory is at risk too because that's a lot of treasure density in there too.
Yes. So you will note that both the bridge and the canal are on. So as soon as they have that ship, which we know is lurking over an ice cave, then they're going to be able to explore the whole world without fear of how they have to get out of it. The canal is there, they can just sail out the second they have that ship. No big deal. Thing is, they have to get that ship, and getting out of that ice cave, because it looks like they're going to have to loop it twice. That's painful. We've seen a lot of stuff down there that just hurts. I think Caleb's going in here not only to get levels for his fighter, but also just to see if there's better equipment available to him. So when he does that second ice cave dive, he's going to have the equipment needed to be able to do it. Of course, trick is we already know the flame sword is lurking somewhere else. So one sword that he might want is unavailable to him.
Well, let's see if Caleb gets all these peas down. If they don't do frost to kill him.
So Caleb's just slowly starting to make some work out of these monsters that he's fighting here in Volcano. I mean, taking out that fire might be difficult. The elementals in the game. Oh, anything else I was gonna say? That was an Ice 3 staff. Suddenly, his fighter is a lot more viable, and you can see he's already immediately busting it out.
Well, you want something spicy? Well, Daegu's at the sea shrine right now. Probably baking on the mermaids.
That was what I was saying. It's a good plan. It's there and it's available. Go for the mermaids.
Well, there is only one problem with that plan, though, because remember, there's ghosts lurking in the floor before the mermaids.
Well, yeah, I didn't say Sea Shrine was easy. So far, I haven't seen much. I mean, there's an ice armor. That's nice. Ice armor, silver shield. That's some decent stuff for his fighter. Of course, unfortunately, his fighter is dead, so it might be decent, but it's not useful at this particular juncture. Oops.
And if I was Caleb right now, I would say grab all the army as much as you can and get out and save before you lose something worse.
Yeah, no. This is absolutely 100% I got some good crap here. Let me get out, save, maybe go back to town and revive my fighter, and try the rest of Volcano or maybe back in Ice Cave after this. Wear Sword isn't the best sword, but it's a sword he can swing. Ice Armor's going to give him some nice protection. He's got that silver shield to go along with it. His fighter is actually pretty good for the mid-game at this point. Just needs to get out of here and get to town and start making his party a whole hell of a lot more viable.
Well, speaking of mermaids, our boy Daegu just made it there. Now it's gonna be all the treasure chests he needs.
I've seen money. I haven't really seen much else, although I will admit my attention's been divided between the two of them. But oh, there's an ice armor for him as well. Oh, and he has a ribbon. I missed him getting that. That must have been here. That is a very nice find.
Well, we know the ribbons they will protect you from almost everything except for anything that touches, such as death touch or poison touch or sleep touch.
But the one thing to bear in mind is that we do, I believe, have the armor and weapons randomized. Shuffled and all that. So it is randomized treasures, which means that they aren't just shuffled around, but like the level that they're at, which is normal level, so all the treasure you expect to find in chests, is truly randomized. So you could have 2, 3, 5 sets of ice armor that you can pick up. You might have some great, like 3 or 4 sets of dragon or opal lurking there. But it also means that you're not guaranteed to get even a single ribbon. I'm sure they're very happy they got the one they just got, along with a Harm 3 helmet right there. Thank you for that, that's actually halfway useful. But it does mean that every ribbon is precious.
Yeah, and don't forget, we could have some, because if you remember correctly, the so-called power gauntlet could be something else for this seed. So we could potentially get maybe, even though I hate to say this, maybe Ruse gauntlets being the usual temper gauntlets.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Ruse, like, effectively, the Ruse sword, the defense sword, and then your Saber Gauntlet, which is there. We've seen Temper Gauntlets, we've seen Fade Gauntlets and Nuke Gauntlets, and I like those. I like all those. But at the same time, when you don't find something that casts Temper or Saber, Ruse, or Invis 2, you're sitting there going, okay, now these mages that can cast these spells become a priority just because of the fact that I'm not guaranteed to get these otherwise. Remember, kids, for every good spell you could get, a good spell you already had could suffer.
Yes, because I actually practiced both DCs and I end up getting Harm 1 shirt, which was not the thing I was hoping for.
Yeah, we've in the Automatic Summer Vacation, I know we had the randomized spells on at least one of the flag sets, and I saw like A-Fur shirts and A-Rub shirts and Lamp and A-Lamp and all those, which are amusing. like, some of them are useful. I saw plenty of people getting use out of the A first shirts when they were going through Volcano, and I know A rub shirts are useful if you don't have ribbons and walls, just to protect against some of the instant death. But at the same time, their value goes down the further you get into the game, whereas a nuke shirt is always a nuke shirt.
Anything with a substantial amount of damage that can AoE will be a godsend. But for now, we don't know what's gonna be randomized yet. Except we already know now. It's the helmet is now harm 3.
And we did see a loose tail in Armory. That was one thing I missed when I looked over at Dangwu in the Mermaids area, which we can see he's wandered out of. He got some good gear. He got that ribbon. He's going to be a little better when he goes into Ice Cave for his first time. Meanwhile, because the tail was there, he's also already starting to think probably about what exactly is it that he's going to be doing. Does he care about the black belt? He knows where the Opal armor is. He may be sitting there thinking, I think a 32 fighter's probably going to be just fine. Don't have to grind up the rest of the way. It's a possibility for him because he has because that tail is on the table. And that's Caleb who has that tail because it was over in the volcano. I may have said Dangwu, I meant Caleb.
Yeah, but also you gotta think about this way. Will I waste my time going to raise a black belt from scratch? That's maybe the biggest issue on the grind time.
Well, we've seen it, and this is part of what the power of Tavern mode presents. So, let's say you have a red mage, and this is from experience, this is something Caleb did. You have a red mage, you have a good sword on him, or a couple of sweeper spells. You can, between those, take that red mage all the way up to 42, take your red mage over to the tavern that has the black belts, suddenly you got a black belt that has the level the red mage had, and because the red mage had, for instance, exit, it's not that risky a move to grind them all the way up to 42. It's a little bit of a time investment, but the risk is gone. And that's the power of Tavern mode, is you can play the spells and you can play the scenarios with the classes you have, and do things you wouldn't do normally in one of your grinds, just in the vanilla randomizer.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, once you, like, say, you use the tail and promote everyone, I believe Tavern mode becomes a little more
There's a
promoted
balance.
classes, if I'm not mistaken.
There is a balance. If you promote, then all the characters you get are promoted. So, in most cases, that's a good thing. With the fighter, for example, if you promote him to a knight, take your fighter all the way up to, like, level 30s, and then promote him, he'll get all the spells as if he was promoted at 15, and then earn his spells naturally. So he'll have all his spell slots, don't even have to worry. That's the thing about if you, like, class change your fighter late, you have to earn the spell slots afterwards. Don't have to do that with a promoted fighter. Now, anytime you promote someone, you don't get any of the spells that they naturally get. You have to go, like, buy those spells for them, but their slots are available, their ability to cast them is there. So, that's great. The downside is that you're getting a promoted character, and black belts, masters in the original game, are actually weaker at the level up than the black belts are, for whatever reason. So if you promote and then buy a master, your master is getting in there as if they've been earning all their levels at the weaker master stats instead of the stronger black belt stats. So that's the balance you have to do. Do I want to promote before I buy my black belt? And if I do, I'm probably not buying a black belt. If I promote after, then I'm definitely, after I get all my levels, then I'm definitely doing a...
I wonder what Caleb got out of the Frostpost chest.
I didn't see the Frost Wolves. I don't think it was anything important, although I'm sure chat will correct me. I do know he got a Cure 1 hammer out of the Ice Dragon's chest, so that was not exactly useful.
And youch, our bones with the poison status, so ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it, but I have a tendency the second I have some cash to buy like 20 Cure Pots, and that helps to prevent that at least a little, although I don't think Caleb had those. Oops. But Stinger is not the worst AoE spell you can get because of the fact that Cure Pots usually are available and aren't usually that expensive.
Yeah, the worst one I believe is gonna be the one that poison that makes you turn into stone.
Yeah, stone poison is awful, but basic Stinger's not a big deal.
Unless you want to hear that beautiful sound throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the things I like about Final Fantasy IV is that the poison sound is still irritating, but it's like a little ringing noise that's nowhere near as grating as the Final Fantasy I NES like grinding sound poison. So for everyone who's here, we are now 30 minutes into the sea. Welcome to Final Fantasy I Randomizer. This is the Road to SG Live. This is a series of events taking place between Caleb and Dangwu as they battle to the death over and over again to see who becomes the winner of these rounds. So when they go to the final round of it at Final Fantasy, or at the Speed Gaming Live event coming up in late October, they have bragging rights and the ability to say, I've won all of these, and I stole the win away from you. Aha! Whoever gets it at that event. Here, though, they get to practice and trash talk and enjoy playing with each other, and we build a little bit of buzz for the event that's upcoming. So, Kyton, what do you think of these flags so far?
I actually pretty much like it, to be honest. But surprisingly enough, Caleb's solo grinding the fighter right now on the eye grind, so that is not a bad move, to be honest.
No, he's got the Ice 3. He doesn't have a great sword, but Ice 3 is pretty good, and we know the Eye has like less than 200 experience because one of his Black Mages first time he came in here killed it with a 192 cast of Lit 3. Eye's not really doing that terribly much damage, except for the occasional critical hit. It's not a bad move. I rather like it.
Question from chat, is the airship always in the default place with the floor? Yes, it is, actually, because it's still in the desert where you still need the floater stone, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah, airship doesn't move. Airship is always an airship spot.
But no, that is not bad to just switch the spots around.
Now, it is curious to me that Caleb is taking this grind here. Bear in mind that he doesn't have 12 key items, including the bridge and the canal, which they always get by default in these flags. So 12 from there. He doesn't have those, so he's doing this at half experience from what he could be getting later. I would be surprised if he takes this grind all the way up past like 24. Oh yeah, and he's already exiting at 17. This was just a quick boost to make his fighter a little more viable. Trick is he's got to get out of here now, and fighter is the only one left alive. Could go poorly.
Yeah, especially being poisoned and no antidotes right now. He needs to get out right now while he can.
And he does. Wow. Like, that was a hero run for all hero runs right there. Well done, Kate. So I think Dangwu just went and explored both sides of Water Shrine. He just didn't fight the fiend.
Yeah, because fighting Mighty Kraken right now, that's gonna wipe his party out, even if you have, like, a godsend armor.
Well, that is something that we get to see. Fiend Shuffle is on, so we don't even know if Kraken is down in the Kraken spot.
Wait, so you're telling me that the fiends are not in their original locations?
Not in the overworld. The Fiend ones are randomized, so Kraken could be Lich. Kraken could be Tiamat. It could be good, it could be bad. He doesn't know, but he didn't want to run the risk of it with the treasure that he managed to dig out.
I'll be laughing if Kraken is in Lich's hideout.
That's the fun of the Fiend Shuffle. You have to remember that the Fiend is actually where or where not they might be. It's enjoyable. Like, he was there in Sea Shrine. I would not be surprised if the game was just feeling kind and gave him Lich there, but you never know.
Ah, the beauty of Fiend Shuffle is at its finest. What else can, go wrong?
So Caleb has done a few things here with his grind. First off, having escaped Ice Cave with his fighter alive, he has managed to get the ship out, and the ship was conveniently parked over there at Provoca, so for him to quickly pick up, which he remembered automatically. That's something I forget, is where the ship shows up when it shows up in a place like Ice Cave, so good on Caleb for that. The other thing is, by grinding his fighter all the way up to level 17, he was sitting on a nice stack of, like, nearly 90,000 gold, so he can go buy a bunch of stacks of cabins, a bunch of heal pots, a bunch of pure potions, get him ready to roll for everything that he wants. Yeah, it's a good time. He's done a lot to help his exploration now, and with that ship, he can go start bumping through the rest of the area. We know Floater's not over in the Volcano right now. He may decide he wants to explore both sides of Sea Shrine, which I can't blame him for, by the way. Tempter's sitting there over at the Black Magic Shop. That's a spell you hate seeing at level 7. But yeah, he could go a couple different areas now. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if he just says screw it, and instead of going exploring Sea Shrine, he just bounces out and explores the world, because he's got so much more open to him now.
Well, speaking of heavy armory, Daewoo's equipped with pro rings right now, so his defense just went through the roof right now.
Pro ring is a great item right there. It's the armor that just about everyone can wear, and it does convey 8 armor points, along with protection against a lot of the death status elements. Not all of them, like Quake, for example, Crack, is Earth element, not Death element. But, you know, there's a few instant deaths that can sneak through, but most of them are now protected against.
And speaking of Caleb, I believe he's heading to Melman right now.
He is, and Elfland is there. So that's level 1 through level 4 of magic all available to him. Very nice. And Fade at level 3, he needs that white mage at this.
Question is the white mage is in Elfland? That's the main question.
Yup. And he's immediately like, screw these 2 black mages, I want the white mage instead.
Can you blame him for seeing level 3 fades? No.
I mean, with Lit 3 and Ice 3, I don't know if I would have gotten rid of 2 of my black mages. I would definitely have gotten rid of 1 to get that fade, but we just saw Lock 2 and Warp over at level 3 black, and I love having a lot of charges of Lock 2 just to make sure that no matter what, I have someone that has them when I get up to the endgame fiends.
I agree with you there, because having 2 white mages, that means potentially your grind is kind of slowing down a bit. But at the same time, I could see the DPS coming out in the long run.
Ooh, and Key is right here over at the Melmond Elfland. So that opens up Marchlock immediately for him. And Opal Shields at the armor shop. Your fighter, once he decides to class change, can basically be fully equipped for everything that he needs. We got a ribbon, we got opals on both of those, we got a pro ring. He's good to go. That's your fighter starter set. So we have a question from chat about whether or not the fighter can learn Fade at level 3. I believe because Fade was in the 4th slot, it is blocked to the fighter, as well as I think it's fully blocked to the Red Mage and Wizard as well. Am I mistaken?
You know what? It's been a while since I remembered the slots exactly, so I kind of don't remember, to be honest.
I know 2 and 4 are generally blocked. I just don't remember if 4 is blocked to Red Mages permanently. Yeah, White Mage only. I am correct in remembering that. Thank you, Asher, over in chat for backing me up on that. So that's useful to know that the only person who's getting that is your White Mage.
Well, speaking of big treasury, Dwarf Cape key lock survey says a lot of gold.
It's a lot of gold, but he doesn't need that at this point. He had that 90 grand he got off the eyes after he mugged a bunch of them. No need to worry about that. He's wandering back over to Elfland, I think, to resupply and pick up whatever was lurking over here at, I think this was Provoca, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Elfland was Provoca for this map.
So he might be looking to find some armor or some other stuff.
The only thing funny, we have not seen our favorite spell, the nuke spell. Probably could be at the worst place possible, which is, oh god, it could be at Melman could be at Onrak's location.
Yeah, whatever's lurking over there. It's now that they have Fade, the power of Nuke is definitely lessened. Nuke is still a great spell. Nuke is great to have on your black mages, which you can have a ton of. But Like, now that I have Fade, I don't know that I care so much about Nuke. It's like Nuke minus, basically.
Well, we'll see what's in the Alpha Castle in the locked area. Let's see. We got gold, more gold, gold, and gold.
So I'm getting the vibe that there's a lot of gold.
Correcto mundo, which means you know where Caleb's going. He's
Marsh.
going to the Marsh Locked.
This is not a gamble I would have made, honestly. Like, if he and Dang have been chatting and Dang has said that he went to Marsh... Oh, wait, never mind. He's got the key. Marsh Locked is on the table. I would absolutely make this play. It's a totally different play from his perspective than it was for Dang.
And remember, I did choose this as the mystery incentive, so
We don't
who
know.
knows what's it? We don't know what's in it.
Yeah. So this is something that's we do here, for those that are curious. The randomizer with one of the most recent updates on the beta side got what's called tri-state flags. Tri-state basically means, it's almost like you'd expect. A flag can be on, it can be off, or it can be a maybe. So by turning tri-state on, we're making it a maybe and we don't know whether or not it's randomized. For this particular seed set while we're doing the road to SG Live, just for the fun of it, we've done what we like to call a tri-state. We pick 3 locations, Earth Cave, Titan's Trove, and Marsh Locked, and we say 2 of these are going to be incentivized, 1 of these is going to be, maybe, a tri-state. And then we let whoever rolls the seed randomly pick on their own which one of the 3 is going to be. So the runners don't know which one of them is tri-state, they just know one of the 3 might be. So Marsh Locked could be an absolute whammy, and if it is, then Caleb has the knowledge that he absolutely has to go to Titans and Earth to get the 2 key items that are still floating out there. We're mean. That's basically what this is.
Basically, the Marsh tradition incentive is not worth it because it was just a worthy cabin.
I thought the Marsh incentive was over on the other side.
No, it's the wizard guard one.
Well, but the wizard one is just the regular incentive. It's not the locked incentive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The regular March is no bueno.
Was that did I see that right? Was that a rub shirt?
I believe you said the words out of my mouth, man.
That's a fun one. Rub is an interesting spell to have on a item to cast with. I don't know how much I'd use it, but it's interesting to have it. Rub. Okay, so
A-Rub.
Yeah, we have seen that before.
I don't think Caleb went to the other chest for the other lock, did he?
The middle one?
No, the one on the very right.
I think he checked the very right. I'm pretty sure he beelined over there.
Oh, never mind. TNT is on the very right, so it could be necessary because we don't know what Narek would want for TNT though.
So now we know that the maybe Marsh was a definite Marsh. Marsh had TNT, and thankfully Caleb is right here. So as soon as he's done checking Marsh off, which he has to because there's 2 loose in the pool, then he can go over, turn in that TNT, and find out what else it is. Could be floater, could be chime. I mean, we've already seen the potential for a floaterless seed here before, although Caleb went and got the floater anyway for the heck of it. So there's a possibility that if they get chime, he could be sailing all over the world just because he has to.
But there is also that potential because remember, before he can head to the Dwarf Cave back, he has not checked Northwest Castle yet for the lock either.
He hasn't. That might be... I could see not checking it. Like, you know there's 3 chests there that you're going to want to grab eventually with the key lock. But at the same time, it's only 3 chests and it's a decent walk inside there. Why go there until you have the crap?
Well, true, because to prevent yourself from double dipping, but unless Crown is actually atrocious, like say, Astral just gives you a trolley item for some odd reason, then you just wasted your time for double dipping.
Yeah, it's the risk. It's the risk, and trying not to double dip is something that I'm still working on. It's very easy in this game to get tripped up and double dip when you don't have to, because you're like, oh, I need to do this right now. Oh wait, no, I didn't. But Caleb apparently is proving us wrong. He's gonna go double dip.
Well, let's see what those 3 chests are right now, because it's either I wasted my time or I did not.
That's the ruby. That's one of the 2 loose right there. It's not the best loose to have, although Titan's Trove is incentivized, so that's not bad. Certainly could be something good. At the same time, at least now he has one of the two incentivized or 2 loose incentive items out of the pool. That's good knowledge to have as well.
Well, there was a question in chat right now. It says, does the black and white shirt provide certain resistances? That I do not know, but I remember, if I remember correctly, they do act like ribbons, but not as strong as the regular ribbon would do.
No, yeah, they do provide protection. They are, if you equip them on a class changed, white mage or black mage respectively, and because they're not labeled white or black here right now, we don't know which one the Arab shirt is. But the black shirt does provide time resistance. It's the only item in the game, I believe, that provides time resistance. I cannot remember what the white shirt provides as a resistance for the wearer there. It's not lightning, I know that much, I'm pretty sure. But it does provide some kind of resistance.
Also, another question from chat, can they randomize the item stats too? Unfortunately, I don't think we have the
Not yet.
knowledge for that. Not yet.
No.
But
No.
But I do have the other randomizer for it that does that. The PSP one version does do that.
Yes. Yeah, there's a few different randomizers out there. I think the Game Boy one that's in development does that as well. The primary reason we don't have that on is because there's no way to check stats. So and I know the devs have discussed it, until they can build in a way for you to actually see what the stats are easily on the equipment you put on, I think randomizing the stats on equipment is off the table.
Well, Titan's Troll, let's see what you contain.
The crystal. Ooh. So there's the herb, which we got over at Dwarves from the pot grower, apparently, instead of being the armorer. And then we also have the crystals. That's a couple more turn-ins in quick succession they're going to want to do, because while the town has been randomized and Elfland is over at Melman, the castle is still exactly where you expect it to be. But since he had the ruby and he can come over here, check Sarda and get yet another key item for free.
But there is also another question. Would you really want to go straight to Matoya right now? I say do not.
I have the rod. Now that I have the rod, I think I might actually go dip Earth Cave. I already got like close to 20 levels under my fighter's belt. I got some decent gear on him. I think with the spells and the gear I have, I say screw it, and I just go do Earth Cave. Crank it out of the way right now. Worst that happens is Kraken is down there, but I think even then, with Fades and Lightning and Lock, I'm pretty certain I could take Kraken at this point.
Yeah, I will say go straight to Earth Cave right now, because who knows? Maybe Lich is actually where Lich is. Or it could be worse. It could be Tiamat, because, you know, Bane is a thing that can crack through a ribbon somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think worst case scenario for this party right here is Tiamat. Like, Kraken, it's hard, but Kraken is at least weak to lightning, and Kraken is, like, gonna take damage from Fade, and he's got his fighter who's got some good levels to him. I think worst case scenario, honestly, is finding Tiamat down in there. That's a 1 in 4 chance. I think I'd risk it. Caleb, however, apparently wants to go do his fetch quests. Caleb really likes proving us wrong.
And another question for Chad. Fiends are randomized? Yes, they are. Only the first 4 fiends are randomized, not the revisited ones.
Yeah, we usually keep that as a surprise, but there was a question about it earlier, and I decided to spill the beans for this particular stream right here. The first round fiends are randomized. There's almost no reason to randomize the second round fiends, since they all appear in the same dungeons.
Unless you want to be that really evil point where you want Baltimore 2 in the Earth floor on Topher, forget it.
But, I mean, yeah, but the simple fact is, all you have to do is figure out how to get past each of them. Honestly, getting Tiamat or Kraken early when they're some of the early gatekeepers just means you can actually spend your resources more wisely. I probably would not worry about, like, shuffled Fiend 2s all being in the same dungeon. It's just not the same threat.
Speaking of treasury, Cornelia Treasury is open for Caleb right now. We got gold and ice sword, opal armor, which is he might as well go for the night change.
Yeah.
ASAP as soon as get the legendary airship for that point.
Yeah, the opal armor is basically dragon armor without the resistances. It's the same defense, and with a ribbon, which we found in mermaids, the resistances aren't such a big deal. But also, it's not even a huge deal that he found the opal. It's nice because he doesn't have to spend the money, but opal armor was for sale over at Canary. So, great to have, but I think, honestly, if he was thinking about class changing, he's been thinking about since the beginning because he knew where the gear was for it.
Let's see what the witch gives us right now.
Slab. Well, he knows where Lufane is, so that's yet another turn-in. He just needs to find Melman, because that's one of the areas we have not found yet.
It's either in the Lufane location or, worst case scenario, Onrak.
We do have three. There's Lufane, Gaia, or Onrak, and honestly, if he wants to be able to turn that slab in, he's praying for Onrak, because otherwise he's gonna have to have the floater. Opal O from the Elf Prince right there, getting his Cheerios early. That is some great armor. Keep one of those white mages alive. Note though, as of yet, we have not seen a life spell. I don't know if they've checked the level 4 magic over at Elfland, but we're still missing the key life and pure force that we're really hoping to get.
Yeah, but do you really want to go fly to Gaia just to go to Melman, if it's Melman over there, just to translate?
I still don't have the floater, and there might be something key lurking at one of the floater-only locations. I mean, it's... At this point, floater is starting to become less and less valuable.
Well, speaking of Earth Cave, Daewoo's in Earth right now.
And I'm pretty sure Caleb is beelining over there as well, if he can just get past the fights. This is a very different path than from what they've taken the last couple times. It's primarily just because the game has shoved them in this direction. So you'll note while Daewoo is checking chests, Caleb is not. I'm starting to think he's, like, not too stressed over it. He has... All he's missing at this point is the chime.
Dane just got the Aegis Seal and the Rub Gone, so...
Nice!
No more no Saber Gauntlets for this round.
Nice! Yeah, you can see Caleb right here is checking the... He's skipping all the other chests, and he's prioritizing getting over here to the key item location. He knows he only needs one key item left at this point. He only needs the chime. He has the cube. He only needs the chime at this point because he's got the Oxyale, he's got the rod, he's got a canoe so he can get to Volcano. Floater is nice. Floater is not necessary at this point if he gets the chime. So he's prioritizing his key item locations, of which there are still 3 on the table he can get to. 1 here, and then we're looking at Ordeals and Waterfall. And then if he can get the chime out of one of those 3, he can just go mode the rest of this game.
Speaking of treasury, they actually picked up a Pro Cape from the out of the way Guardian of the Earth.
That's nice.
Technically, I believe that's like a all elements protection except death, if I'm not mistaken, on the Pro Cape. it also acts like a shield as well.
Procape does not have any protections. Procape is only a shield, but it's a shield that everyone except the black belt can wear. Oh, and the loot! I did forget they needed the loot for go mode, so that is a key item he had to get. It's got to make him happy. Still doesn't let him into Sky at all, but the second he gets Chime, he's in go. So we had a question about the game audio, why we don't have it right now. I actually cannot answer that for you, Ryra the Raiju. I don't know what exactly is going on behind the scenes, but we do have a soundtrack playing in the background at least, so there's at least music, if nothing else. So with that loot, Caleb is diving further onwards, and he still doesn't care about chests. I think he's playing the numbers game. Looking at what's still on the table, what he needs, having already found one of the loose items, there's only one more out there. Number game is in his favor that he's not going to have to try and dive for that chime. Better just to get it out of the way now and hit all the key item locations and start moving on with the fiends. I like this play. It's risky, but it's a smart risky.
Well, speaking of fiends, let's see who is the really lich. Is it Lich or is it gonna be someone else, folks? Let the games begin on this one.
And while he's healing up for that fight, I will point out that Dingwu found the Expert shirt. So we have both the shirts at this point. Oh! It is Tiamat! Oh!
Worst case scenario just presented itself. So, for those who want to dive Earth this early and see Tiamat, run!
That was 23 damage that he did there with that fighter, and the fighter took a wallop. Yep, fighter's gone. Even that lock 2 is not even going to matter. Ouch. Just ouch. If he makes it through this, it's only going to be because Tiamat didn't roll a lot of health.
Well, he's calling for Fates and Quad X.
So not effective yet. He's going to need more Fate out there. And then Tiamat, playing with his food, casts it. Oh, ouch. Getting that Quad X out. That was bad turn order right there. Another white mage hit is eating dirt. Man, that white mage just cast Ruse. He did. He's trying to protect himself. Oh, and he gets the Quad X off. Just squeaked under that 300 mark for Quad X. Quad X kills the Fiend. Fiend of Earth is dead safe. Save now. Good man, right?
Wow, that was a close save for Caleb. Because otherwise, that would have been a bad wipe.
Well, I think that he lucked out by grace of the fact that it was Tiamat instead of Kraken. And I say that only because Tiamat was our worst case scenario. Tiamat did not have resistances or weaknesses that lined up. But Kraken hits harder. Had he gotten Kraken, I think that fighter would have been wiped out in one turn, and I'm pretty certain his party wouldn't have survived as long as they did.
Well, speaking of revival, sorry, fighter, but you're gone. Oh wait, never mind. He revives. Never mind.
Yep. Well, and I mean, in the case of the fighter, it doesn't matter if you buy or revive at the tavern that has them, because without them being class changed, they don't have any spells to worry about. So either way, it's just fine. Got a question in chat from Enlightening Fart. Lovely name, thank you. I'm very amused by that. About whether or not the runners are given typical base maps they could use, or if they have their own map note tracking system. Far as I know, as far as tracking is concerned, we have a couple different trackers that people in the community have designed. I don't know that either of the runners actually use them while they're playing, though. When we're talking about a game like this, which is not that far off from basic vanilla Shuffle, like, once you've played it a while, you don't necessarily need the key item trackers, but we do have a couple that are available for people. Because it's not a Shuffle town or floors or entrances or any of that would make this map really complicated, I don't think they have any particular map notes that they have up. They might have a short notepad open with what towns they've randomized, but it's all vanilla maps otherwise, so as long as you know the layout of the game, you don't really have to track anything.
Yeah, especially like if it's town shuffle and entrance shuffle and possibly floor shuffle was on. I would use like one of those printout maps that was in the Discord before I actually took a hiatus from commentating here. But
Yeah.
but it's basically on runners' preference what they can use.
Now, there are trackers available for tracking your levels and so forth. Meridian, one of our key members of our community, has designed a really lovely level entrance tracker that's great to use. I use that anytime I get into an entrance shuffle game because you need something like that to keep yourself straight on where things are. But that's not really necessary for something like this. Of note, while we're here, the bottle was over at the ordeals. So at this point, Caleb is starting to run into an issue that he hasn't yet realized. If Gaia is not at Onrak, that means that bottle, which could lead to something important, like the chime he needs, might be lurking in a floater-only location. Which could mean he has to go and start digging treasure chests that he skipped. Dengwu is somewhat behind because he didn't fight the Tiamat, I don't believe. Oh, Caleb is lucking out here because Dengwu has just shown us that Gaia is over at the Onrak area.
Yeah, my question is, since Dengwu has the bottle, Caleb doesn't know what the fairy could have because speaking of pro case, 10k pro case for sale.
Great. I'd buy 3 of them right now. I wouldn't even think about it. Yeah. Well, I mean, if Caleb's going to get the bottle because it's here in Ordeals and he's in Ordeals, and he's going to sail over to Onrak because he's on that path right now because he has to go there anyway for Waterfall. I have no doubt that he is going to take that bottle, pray it's over at Onrak, find out that Gaia is at Onrak, go turn it in and see what he gets. And that's 2 more key item checks for him right here. The flip side, it means that if the slab is what you need to get the chime, then he's going to have to find the floater, and I'm not sure where that floater could be at this point. Probably, at this point, having seen what Ding was dug out, deep in Volcano. That's my best guess.
Or worst case scenario, Waterfall.
Well, he's going to have to go to Waterfall anyway. Like, he's there.
Well, let's see what that bottle turns into from the fairy.
The adamant, the fetch quests continue. Chitin, I gotta say, it might not be the most evil seed, but it has been a lovely one to watch.
Well, it's not the worst yet because Daegu could head to Waterfall right now and grab what's in there before he heads back to the Dwarf Cave and turn that stone in.
Absolutely. 100%. That's what I do. You're here, you've already sailed over, you gotta do it. Those that are wondering, that waterfall might look a little weird to you. And that's because the layout of the waterfall has been randomized.
It could be a really short one, or it could be a super grindy long one to get to the chest.
Well, the fun thing about Waterfall is that because it's a looping dungeon map, if you have the right path through it, you can just be on an infinite loop of it and not even realize it. I've done that before. It sucks. If you're curious, there are 3 maps in the game that our lovely coders have made procedurally generated. They are Waterfall, which you see here, and 2 Earth Floors. We only have Waterfall turned on for this one because the Earth Floors right now are still just a little buggy. But the Waterfall one works perfectly, and it's fun to watch our players randomly wander around a map not knowing where they're going for once. That's a joy. Another ribbon. Ooh. He's got to think what he wants to
more
throw.
spicy.
Yeah.
I think give her the helmet right now.
Well, it's interesting to me that he's been sitting on... he gets rid of the flame armor. He's been sitting on like 3 sets of armor. Obviously because he wants to be able to upgrade his ninja as well. But it's still the thing of, like, that was a lot of armor he was sitting on. Oh! Once Caleb is done here, Caleb is going to be in go mode.
Yeah, this is basically Caleb's race to lose right now because Daegu just revealed that the world has the chime.
Now, that's not to say... I mean, Dengwu is also in go mode. Don't get me wrong. But Dengwu is, like, 1 fiend down. So... Caleb will be in go mode and will be up and ready to roll and have a dungeon up on Dengwu and won't have done nearly as many checks. So it's I kind of feel like Caleb's gonna end up with a couple-minute lead once this is all said and done.
But don't you need to chime in something else to get access to Sky Palace?
They already have the cube because they got it from the king.
Oh yeah, my bad. So
Yeah. No, you're fine. So that gives them full go mode. They got the rod for Earth, which we already saw them clear out. Oxio, they've already been into the water cave. They just haven't fought the fiends there. They've already been to Volcano. And now they have all they need to get through Sky Palace. It's just a matter of how much they want to check at this point, not how much they need to. And just, now that they're in go mode, of course the dwarf finally coughs up the floater. You're a jerk.
Well, that means Gaia is basically Melman.
Yeah, Gaia or Lufane, one of the two of them is going to be Melman, and then... What's the other town that's still on the table for us? Oh, Crescent Lake!
Yeah, because I was about to say, we haven't seen the old men yet.
We have not. At this point, there's going to be Crown still on the table, which is probably going to lead to Defense Sword or Masamune. And then the other one, Slab, will lead to something that will lead to one of our other useless items. They don't really need anything that's still out there on the table.
You know what? I want to be super trolly. What if Masamune is in vanilla?
I mean, I'm not sure it can be with how our incentives, it could be a loose item, that's for sure. But I think, I'm not certain if because we've designated it as a key incentive, I don't think that it can actually show up inside Topher. That's a question for the devs.
Especially waking up the prince, Opal bracelet for Dengwu, so best armor is already swing equipment, but Jinria possibly won the anti-ruptures or the expert shirt.
The question is,
I would not give.
You were gonna say? No, you're good.
Oh, he actually got rid of the expert shirt, which is kind of.
I can see that. I mean, I like expert, but expert has a low chance to hit, especially against the later fiends.
I actually would save it for chaos.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to throw out. I don't know that it's necessary, though. So the question is going to be, does Caleb bother, getting his floater? I see him sailing northwards. I think he's going to do his turn-ins anyway, because he wants it. Because he wants to be able to class change.
And
plus, that's
Gaia,
true, we haven't seen the black belt either, so even if you didn't want to have to class change, you still need to, I think, get the airship so you can go grab the black belt you want.
Well, speaking of getting more items, let's see what the old men contain.
A lot of knowledge, and a Fade Sword! Woo!
Well,
that is spicy, and...
That makes the fighter more just a spellcaster right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, and the thing is, it gives him a spellcasting item, and it also gives him a really good sword to use, endgame sword, if he doesn't get anything else. Now, Temper is level 7, so you don't have a lot of Temper casts, but you do have Lock and Fast, which will help. If you didn't want to try and find the Masamune or something else, you could try and power through the game with your Defense Sword, Fade Sword equipped, and just pray that there isn't anything with too high of a sword. And if there is, you just use it as a Fade caster instead of as a sword.
Well, we know that Lupine is Gaia, Lupine is Melman, so let's see what the doc will say right now for the translation coming in for Dingwu.
Two-step process to take care of that. Learn the Lufenish language in 5 easy seconds.
Oof.
His audio tapes, I have to say, are amazing. There's that Bane you could have used for Tiamat. Hope you didn't want it.
Nope, but he's getting the Brackstrat going,
yes.
So I am approving of that strat.
Yeah, so it's interesting to me. Just for a little point of clarification here. Caleb is in the shop, the Crescent Lake Armor shop, looking to buy gold bracelets. Gold bracelets going for max price. Amusingly, the better opal bracelet in his inventory, 1/3 the value.
That is not right.
It's a quirk of the money. It's just amusing.
Well, speaking of Tyros, Tyros are unrunnable for this seed.
Yeah, but they also seem to have a lot of health. Not much absorbed though, so who cares?
Well,
When you get taken down by a thief sword, that's not so good.
And if I'm guessing this correctly, Daewoo's gonna go head to whoa, is he not? Is he avoiding Tiamat's location?
Earth Cave? Yeah, I mean, can't say I necessarily blame him. Doing Earth Cave when Caleb did was a smart play because he had the item to do it and he needed to get it out of the way. And put him a crystal up. But at this point, with more key items to turn in and things to do, and I'm assuming Daewoo hoping for that Masamune sooner or later, I can see just not bothering with it right now and trying to get your party as good as it can be. You got a fighter and a thief you're trying to build up. You need to get those levels on them, and you need to get them ready to go, right quick.
Well, speaking of Crown City, here comes the King of Astos.
And there is that Masamune. He gives it to you, but you're not allowed to use it because you can't equip items in-game. Or in battle.
And it was just a poison touch, Astos, so who cares?
Yeah, he wasn't that bad. He was fine. He was a kitten. Scratches you, gives you a little bit of damage, and then whatever.
Interesting play because he put the Masamune on the thief.
He did. Well, he doesn't have class change right now, so you gotta make that thief worthwhile for something, and Thief still does have his hit percent fixes on. So, with those enabled, the Thief is a fairly viable fighter at this point.
And speaking of Tiamat's new home, I believe Daewoo's gonna clear this out right now.
Yeah, for those that are wondering, we have a couple bonus fixes in play that have become pretty standard into the randomizer, or at least on the beta side. One of them is that we have doubled the Thief and Ninja hit percent growth, making them more viable than they used to be for battle. So they'll get more hits more quickly, and be able to deal out a whole lot more damage in the weird way that Final Fantasy 1 does its speed and hit growth. The other thing that we've done is we fixed the hit cap, because the coders on the randomizer suddenly realized there is actually a cap to hit percent that Thief can hit before they actually manage to get anywhere near level 50. So the cap has been fixed, so that all the characters can get more hit percent if their growth naturally allows for it. But that especially benefits the Thief and Ninja. Along with that, of course, we also have the fact that Lock and Lock 2 always hit. That's enabled. So, naturally, they're going to be able to stop bosses from having quite so high of evade, and then do a whole bunch of damage with their thieves.
Oof. Mummies do have script, but they did not land on Caleb. Daewoo, thank goodness. Wait a minute, did Daewoo just... No, never mind. He just got the loot. Never mind.
Just say, I don't know yet, because I just lost my internet for a second there. I will be back with you.
Alright, meanwhile, I'll take over for now. Caleb's going ahead to see what they, oh, wait. I think Caleb's prepared for the grind on Volcano. Because I'm seeing flashing lights between, Agma Fact time.
And you will note, we do have Caleb with his black belt. He decided to buy that black belt before doing the grind, which I can't necessarily blame him for. He didn't have exit available, and warping your character back out would have required keeping the black mage alive instead of, a white mage for it, and the black mage doesn't have as good of Masamune growth. Yeah, no. I mean, he's gonna have to walk this out, but so far Volcano hasn't shown anything too scary. I can see this. I might just kill this Agama right now, and then try and, like, move the fighter up front and get the fighter killed off, but...
And don't forget right now, the part that KO has right now is actually in the manual of the original vanilla, because that's considered a beginner party.
It is. I mean, Black Belt takes some time to grow in the early game. He's not very useful until he starts growing up into the mid-teens and able to do damage. And then he, like, really unlocks once you get him up past level 21. At that point, he starts being able to pack out the damage with his fists and becomes quite useful. Which is part of the reason why you see right now, since he's not quite there yet, he's using it. That said, once you get the Black Belt up past level 30, Black Belt is sick. And if you get the Black Belt into the 40s, Black Belt can take on anything, and it's not even a question.
Isn't the Black Belt fixed on as well, or no?
Not that I'm aware of. The absorb calculation is fixed for them, but their magic defense one is not. So that one is still very experimental. So, oh no, he got stunned by the Agama. Ooh, I might bail on this fight after this. Get myself out of it and then bail, because I don't want to deal with stun. I might go fight the red D's instead and just call it a day.
Yeah, because
yeah,
once you're stun locked from the Agama, it's like how long do I have to wait before I actually run?
At least 5 turns before you can get back up, I believe. And even then, he could potentially just stun you again and keep you locked down there. Thing is, with that Fade Sword, packs are not going to seem anywhere near as scary. We haven't seen anything in Volcano that particularly makes them dangerous to deal with. I think the Red D, even though you have to take an off step and occasionally take other fights, I think the Red D might be a better grind at this point.
Well, speaking of Earthscape, they was gonna deal with the Tiamat right now, trying to do Brack strats right now, and it works.
Very nice. Very nice indeed.
Question in chat: Faded Nuke Sword? Who rolled this Christmas present? I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Hey, it doesn't mean it's a free seed from me.
No, I mean, to be
those
fair,
are on rare occasions.
It's the only good item we've really seen. I think we did see an Ice 3 staff too, so that one was nice. It was like an upgraded black shirt, basically. But that and the Fade Sword are the only decent things we've found. Oh, wait, there's a Nuke Sword? When did I miss the Nuke Sword?
That's what I was saying, the same thing. I was like, did someone just got a nuke item?
Okay, no, never mind. This is a total free seed. Please re-roll seed OP.
Why did he have to ask me to roll it? Oh.
I'm assuming I missed that when my internet was down for a second, so I'm gonna blame my internet connection.
Hashtag I blame myself on this one because past seeds I had before my whole fiasco with other seeds. Everyone actually loved my seed in the community because for some odd reason I gave him the jet seed of gods.
I mean, Fade and Nuke is pretty freaking jet seed at this point right here. Yeah, you can see between those two, don't even have to stress waters, and normally the waters are the thing you hate seeing in these. Waters aren't going to be a problem. The unrunnable Wiz Sahag, Red Sahag packs are going to be fine. Like, between those two items, you can pretty much clear anything out of Topher at this point. You throw the Ice 3 staff on there as well, you got 3 massively powerful AoE items. Free seed. 2 free. We'll definitely have...
Unless Topher becomes the issue.
I mean, it can. It can, but you gotta think, a lot of the fiends are going to be facing off, once you get your basic buffs up, the fiends are going to be facing off basically against unlimited AoE. It's sick.
If only if I rolled a trolling one, it would have been so glorious.
Well, about the only troll we're going to see right now in the mid-game is Kraken here at the Kraken spot. Like, this is the next stopgap we could find, but if it's Carry or Lich, those spellcasting items they have are going to destroy this fiend before it even has a chance.
Yeah,
Fade.
well, yeah.
Nuke.
Yeah, and Caleb is just trying to grind to death with his black belt. So he can just, because, let's put it this way, Caleb doesn't know there's a nuke sword lurking.
He doesn't, and he may not find it, bear in mind. He's in go mode. If he doesn't go checking for stuff with his black belt, and why would he, he's gonna miss that nuke sword. And remember, Dingwu doing his walking grind with those cool items, he's now 2 crystals up without even trying. Or 1 crystal up, I should say, but he's 2 to 1 with a nuke sword, and he's just gonna keep going. And if he checks items, I will be surprised.
Well, here's the funny part. They would just obliterate Carry in Sea Shrine.
Oh yeah, not even a question. Caleb, meanwhile, taking the risk of taking his black belt into whatever this baby, and it's Kraken! Oh! 2 hits for the 260 damage. Oh, he's got to pray. And he lucks out, but wow. Like, he was 34 points away from losing his entire grind right there. That is scary.
You know what that means, right? You know who's at the Sky Palace awaiting is the easiest boss possible.
But that's another thing that you're going to be seeing soon anyway. You'll be able to get Lich, but there's a good chance you're going to have to fight Warbeck as well.
Yeah, I hope the bus RNG is in the bridge of destiny is active.
So we had a question in chat asking what the percentages are for enemies. Enemy scaling is 77 to 130%, so not too far off from vanilla. Just a little bit of spiciness there. Meanwhile, boss stats are 40% to 250%. So the bosses can scale pretty high, but they can also scale really low, and that's on individual stats. So each stat gets rolled between 40 and 250% on their own. Other thing to bear in mind is that the bosses are not clamped, which is something that we can turn on. That means that they will go as low as 40 instead of being stuck at base vanilla all the way up to 250. That's a kindness we gave our runners. Not sure if they deserve it.
Well, speaking of expert shirts, there was another one in Sky Palace.
So even if you got rid of it, you don't have to worry too much. That's nice. I am surprised Dingwu was checking for more equipment. Like, he hasn't been to Volcano yet, has he? So he doesn't know about the extra ribbon floating there. Okay, I can see this. Oh, and the tail. If he's looking for the tail, he doesn't know tail is loose there. Okay, I'll buy that.
Yeah, but honestly, do you really need the tail right now since you got the godsend items right now on you?
I mean, your Nuke and Fade shirts are great, or Fade items are great, but they aren't going to protect you if Chaos rolls a couple nukes. Although, honestly, Ribbon's not going to protect you either. If Chaos rolls a couple zaps, they may not protect you.
Well, speaking of gauntlets, we saw the Heal 2 gauntlet.
That's a nice one. Slightly better than I think the Fade of the Heal staff. So it's a benefit.
But the funny thing is, Dingwu's passing on it.
Well, and you can see here that I think Dingwu is taking every single one of the fights he can get. He is doing a full walking grind, not even stressing over it. Like, you've got the god casting items, just kill everything. Take your experience when you can get it and run.
Yeah, and plus, Dingwu's not rocking a white mage, which is the difference maker between Caleb and himself.
But honestly, value of the white mage was decreased the second they found Fade, because I still haven't seen life spells. And the only thing that was really benefiting the white mage was Fade.
You know what? I'm gonna take a wild guess that the life spells are locked at level 8.
Well, again, I didn't see what was at the level 4 magic shops. I missed it. Not sure if there's anything worthwhile there. but we've seen all the shops from 1 through 6. So, and I think most of 7. So yeah, it's looking a lot like the good life spells are locked away at the upper levels, sadly. Although I'm sure again, chat or the trackers will tell us otherwise.
Yeah, so far I've seen it's like a lot of gold coming from the Sky Palace right now.
Mm-hmm. But the goal of the Sky Palace for Dingwu really isn't the items. It's like the items are great, whatever he gets, but really the goal here is just for him to get his levels. Caleb spent a lot of time doing that black belt tile, which worked well for him. He's got a god black belt now, as well as bear in mind that was on a different character from his fighter, so he's got a god black belt and a decent fighter. That's a lot of meat shielding right there. But he spent time doing that grinding instead of doing it on the way. So that's a little more that he has to do to just catch up. However, on the flip side, he's now, because of that god black belt, already right back up to getting his 3rd crystal, and Dangwu is still digging out for his 3rd. So 6 of one, half does the other?
Well, let's see, because remember, it could backfire on Dingwu right now, because remember, we do have Legendary Warmech lurking around somewhere in the bridge.
There is the possibility of a Warmech, that is for sure. Caleb is now 3-2 on Dangwu for the Crystal Race. He is heading into Sky Palace, and if he is consistent with what he's been doing so far, he will not be checking any of the chests here. So we're an hour and 30 in, and I want to welcome everyone once again to the Road to SG Live, a Final Fantasy Randomizer presentation. We are doing these on a weekly basis leading up to SG Live coming up at the end of October. That marathon race will feature Caleb and Dangwu. As you can see here, this is a series of races featuring those 2 runners in the build-up to the race to give us the best possible race with the best seasoned runners we can, ready for the flags they are going to be running. Today's race is the 10th of these that we've done so far, because Caleb and Dangwu love to practice these seeds. Caleb is up 5-4 right now. Dangwu is coming out for blood because he just lost the last race, and we're hoping to see a great match from the 2 of them today, which we already have so far.
Ooh, Excalibur in the incentive Tiamat's Palace.
Quote-unquote incentivized. It wasn't actually incentivized in this particular seed, but that is where the incentivized chest would be. And you can see Dangwu thought for a second, do I want it? Do I want it? No, Masamune's better. Between Masamune and Katana, you don't need that Excal anymore. Not unless you really want to rock like 3 warriors.
And Dangwu's going for the out-of-the-way chest right now, which is 6 treasure chests, but we don't know what they contain. A falchion, an iron helmet, silver dagger, gold, more gold, and a pearl ring.
Yeah,
not worth
like,
it.
I can understand why Dangwu continues to do chests and do, like, fights. But, not that he knows it, but he is losing time here at this point. He had a lead on Caleb, and then Caleb is just blasting through this at this point.
Yeah, especially with the black belt, and we're at the Bridge of Destiny right now, so bless RNG, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dangwu was doing all the right moves for a fighter party, but Caleb went and got himself a awesome black belt, and between, like, Fade and everything else that he already has equipped, what more do you need?
Yeah, Dangwu's losing time a lot to Caleb. Caleb was about to say, adios, man. I'm gonna get my 6th win right now.
Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Caleb is going to win this match. He'll have all 4 crystals in a sec, but he still has to make it through Topher, and even with, like, boss's stats being able to scale all the way down to 40, you're just as likely to get stats up at 250, and oh my god, Dangwu has found another nuke sword. So...
Wow.
So yeah, in case
We
you're,
just hit the jack.
I was gonna say, in case you were wondering, that Warmech, he's a little required right now, and apparently has like stun touch.
If that sentence lands on the black belt, Kid will be in big trouble.
Oh well, he makes it through. I'm really hoping that he was able to get a lock 2 off, because that will look like a very high evade Warmech. But of course, then he has a speed bump to come in afterwards.
Which is just boring glitch.
Yep, already gone. Speed bump already done. Don't have to worry. We're moving on. So he's got great levels on a bunch of his party members. He is set to roll. Downside is he has no.
Yeah, but here's the upside. He has a black belt that can obliterate the seed right now.
No question.
If all the fiends in Topher are completely paper and along with chaos.
Mm-hmm. We got a comment in chat about the fact that after fighting Warmech, Caleb didn't really even bother healing up. Why would you? It was Lich guaranteed. Lich is nothing. Okay, we do have Cure 4 and Life 1 at level 5, so that makes that White Mage a little more useful. He doesn't buy the Cure 4, though. Can't necessarily say I blame him. When it shares a level with Life, your Life spells are your priority at that point. And since he didn't find Life 2, he has to prioritize Life.
Well, if you want nukes, you got your nukes, because Dame is rocking at least, I believe, 2 nuke swords for each of the black mages, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's got 2 nuke swords, a fade sword, and an ice street staff. I would put one of those on each of my party members, and I think every single fight that's not a boss automatically becomes cast my 4 items, get my experience, and go. Take the money and run.
Meanwhile, I think Caleb is saying, I'm ready to go to Topher right now. Just let me just go.
Yeah, I questioned for a second why he was going to Lufane, and then I saw that he was buying Life, and I automatically understood exactly what he was doing here. Now that he's done this, he might go and class change. That's about the only thing I think left he has to do in the way of errands. He's checking the Lufane spells.
He's not class changing.
No, yeah, the Lufane item, he didn't have that.
Oh yeah, was that the crown, I believe?
Crown that leads to Mazamoon.
Oh, he's gonna equip that. He's gonna equip that to the fighter immediately.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. You want that on your fighter, and then he's got a katana. And I think the only other thing I would do, and it's up to Caleb, but I'm assuming Caleb is going to play the same way, because he and I are kind of around the same skill level, I think, in this game. Although he might contest me saying that. Because I like to also boast that I suck at this game. But no, I think if it was me, I would go over and I would class change, because I want my, I don't care at this point, really, about the last bits of MDef for the Black Belt. Black Belt, difference between, like, 36 and 42 for MDef is not a big deal with fixed stats. But then I want to make sure that, whatever I have can use the armor that I've found, the opals and so forth. I'd probably class change even with that black belt. I'd just do it for the heck of it.
Well, Dago did get his tail though, so he is saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna go straight to the end."
And I can't blame him.
Grind that much.
No, like you got the black belt. Having a beefier fighter is certainly nice. It's great to have the stuff on there to do it, but it's not really a necessity when you have a level 36 black belt.
Well, that's cute. Wizards have Fire 2 and Dazzle, so that's nothing.
Not with the levels they're at this point. It sucks, but it's not, really scary anymore.
Oh, Caleb didn't go for the cost change. He's going straight for it.
He is, and that was the thing. I knew there was a chance he could. I was saying I probably would go class change just so that my fighter can stand up front and be beefy, but it's also, I can understand why he wouldn't. So at 1 hour and 34 minutes, Caleb is our first runner to enter Topher. He's going to do an exploratory dive if Topher is not that scary. His fighter black belt party should be just fine to take it out. If Topher ends up being scary, I would not be surprised to see Caleb go in class change.
We'll see what Mr. Phantom has to say about that.
Quite a bit of damage on a critical hit, and then disappears in a puff of undead smoke. Otherwise, nothing in the two, special chests.
Run validated. Thank you very much.
Yep, e-validated, that's all that matters. But I think they've basically both gone and done just about all the turn-ins they can, hit all the places they could, see just about all that they could see. I think the only things they skipped as far as run validation are concerned were, the Bat Party Room and Out of Bounds Bat.
Well, technically, Outbound Battle was kind of random because remember, the Waterfall was randomized on the layout, so you possibly might not see it.
Cinema B asking in chat, why did Caleb bother checking those chests? For the lulz. For the memes of it. Just because. I think that was his whole goal.
No, the funny thing was that validation chest, when I ran the seed before, actually gave me the monster move. So I'm like, what?
Yeah, but he has it, so there wasn't a whole lot that he was really looking for. I think it was really just the memes. I've seen them both in these last races, just do a lot of memeing because they can. I know, Dangwu in one of the matches, he was using fear on the various fiends just for the hell of it, just to see if he could get them to run. And I think he did get Gary 2 to run, which was really fun.
Oh, man. I had a hilarious one. Yeah. I even had Carrie 1 killed herself.
Yeah, that happens. It's amusing. So he's got his glass change in effect, be able to equip his really good armors. He doesn't have a black belt. He's not going to get a black belt. And no reason to even worry about it.
You know what? I'll be laughing if Chaos actually runs away from Caleb in the match.
I don't think that we have morale set for the bosses where they can anymore. I know that used to be a thing that could happen, but I think they fixed that in the randomizer with one of the more recent updates.
Aww, there goes my fun.
I know. To get them to run, you actually have to actively cast fear on them now.
Let's see what Lich 2 is packing right now, because Caleb is about to swing, and nothing but paper.
So far, so good. On to the next round. I mean, Lich 2 is barely scarier than Lich 1. He barely qualifies as a Fiend 2. Especially because we have them, nerfed at this point with the spell shuffle. Lich 2 in the original game, first turn nuke every time. He was scary. Lich 2 without first turn nuke, not scary.
But you know who's still scary? Tiamat 2. And Kraken 2.
I mean, yeah. Find at times that Carry 2 can be scary. So, 7 minutes, 44 seconds behind Caleb, Dang enters in for his first round of Topher to see what's going on. And bear in mind, he has done class change. He's done more checks. He's got all the gear he could possibly want for this party. Only thing he's missing is a life caster. So, he may not care with Ice 3 Fade Nuke, who really gives a crap if anything can kill you if it all dies. But it's still something to worry about. Meanwhile, Kraken was blinking you miss it for me as I was talking about that. So Caleb is having a great run through here.
Yeah, Kraken 2 only had less than 300 health, so Black Belt thing, I'll just chop you into sushi.
And that's the thing we were talking about with the fact that you have the stats going all the way down to 40%. Occasionally you're going to get a Fiend 2 that rolls with nothing. Just nothing.
Well, that's Gatekeeper for Caleb right now because Tiamat 2 is just right around the corner.
Yeah, the only thing stopping him from a run to Chaos on his first dive is whatever Tiamat 2 has.
Unless Chaos has
Wisely.
all the spells of
Also,
Doom.
I mean, all these fiends have died quickly enough. There could be just about anything on Chaos. The only thing I don't think he's gonna have is Stun Touch because we already saw that on Warmac.
Yeah, and Warmac was the only one that had Stun Touch, unfortunately, because Let's see what Tiamat 2 has something to say about that.
85 damage from the fighter. 7 hits for 230 from the black belt. Tiamat has some serious evade right now.
Or worse, has probably some beef as well.
I'm sorry, yeah, not evade, absorb, because he got the 7 hits in. He just didn't get the the real meat of the punch with it. So he's got fast on both of his warriors. Now he's just trying to crank out the damage. And he's getting fast on Tiamat. You want to kill him now. There we go.
This Tiamat 2 has some evasion. Evasion, absorb.
So we have a question from myself plays over in our Twitch chat, asking about Fire 3 doing more damage than Nuke on ice enemies. Is that possible? And then hold on, because we did have the great meme run right there. I do believe that due to the damage range of Fire 3, is weak to fire. I don't think the damage range of Fire 3 can get as high as a natural Nuke roll can. Now, Nuke doesn't target weaknesses because Nuke is non-elemental, but Nuke can scale all the way up to 400. Ice 3 can out damage Nuke if you get a weakness, but Fire 3 is a weaker spell, and I don't believe it can out damage Nuke on a normal rolls.
Ooh, Chaos has lightning too, so that's not terrible.
Chip damage, that's a free turn. He does, however, have a lot of absorb, because that was 5 hits for 33 damage from the Moon. That's not what you want to see.
And that is not good, because even the Black Belt was doing lesser than that.
I think I saw 15 hits for 264 damage, 5 hits for 11. This is a very high absorb. And then the Nuke! Oh!
Oh, this could be Daemu's chance to redeem himself.
Well, he's got a hope at this point, Caleb. Oh! Never mind. I was about to say, he's got to hope that Chaos doesn't have a lot of health. Chaos doesn't have a lot of health. Look at that. So, wow, that was a one-rounder there for Caleb.
With an official SRL time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 38 seconds. GG, Caleb.
Absolutely, GG's to Caleb. That was a brilliantly played grind into Topher. Well, Caleb, GG.
Thank you, GG. Wow, what an early game.
That was impressive.
Thank you, Kaigan.
Oh God, you just had to say that, didn't you?
No, I mean, it was fine.
Okay, so first things first. You prioritized your grind over chest checking. Was there any particular reason you did that?
I was in go mode. I felt like.
Technically, you were. Yeah. I was just curious about it because you and Daengu took very different strats this time around.
Well, I was like, I'm gonna be cheeky and do the 3 black mages, and then Ice Cave was said, no, you're not. So I remembered that Lefanish Hospitality was on, so I was like, let me double back to Lefane. Maybe there'll be black belt there, and I can start that process because we all knew he has nuke swords. Oh my god!
I was going to talk to you about
double nuke swords
found
in the sea.
Yeah, because the second you stopped checking chests was the second he found one of the 2 nuke swords, and then that was in left side of Sea Shrine, and then the other nuke sword was sitting in Sky Palace.
Okay, well that explains why he never mixed up his party comp, because we were talking about party comp a little bit, and he said he was basically running this the whole way. Well, I felt like I was constantly sort of adjusting.
Yeah.
Because when I found, so I got lucky, found the fighter, and I was like, I have decent enough gear that this fighter can be okay once I get a handful of levels on him, and then I was able to make it through ice with the boat, but the getting from ice to Provoca was terrifying with the single fighter with poison, because I had no heals, no pures, no camping equipment, and I knew that there was a river full of Caribs with Lightning 3, and then I knew there was a swamp with Gurims with Lightning 3. It seemed like everything had Lightning 3 in this seed.
There was a lot, yeah.
But
I do have a question for you, Caleb.
Sure.
How did you feel? How did you feel when you found out that Chaos had like a super high absorb?
Oh yeah, I saw it was like first hit was 15 hits, 22 damage. I was like,
It was
uh-oh,
sad.
uh-oh. And I mismenued clicked lock 2 because I wasn't really thinking when my black mage should have been fasting my fighter, but the the black mage died anyway. So if Chaos had any sort of nice dang.
the full victory lap
Oh
wandering.
my god!
If he had any HP, that fight was going to go south for me very fast. Once that he rolled super high nukes, so
just to note, Asher in chat calling what Daegu just did the victory stumble.
yeah.
Yeah, you. I think you lucked out with that chaos because we saw the kind of damage he was cranking out, and like with that nuke, and how little he was taking from you, and that critical hit came at just the right time.
Yeah.
So I guess one of my questions for you is, armchair quarterbacking at this point, having the knowledge you have now, and what was there in Topher, and what was there in some of the other chests, would you do this seed the same way you already did if you were to do it again? Or would you, instead go looking for those nuke swords and do a fighter comp?
No. I mean, the strategy I took worked, so I wouldn't change anything. Like, there were a few things that I would have liked to have done a little cleaner. Some of my routing could have been better, but, I mean, it was the party comp that I ended up rolling with was something I picked up from Thunder, watching him roll with a fighter black belt, and I really, really kind of like it. And if I have to roll 4 party members in the future, that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, I mean, if I had wiped out of Topher, I would have gone to. I probably would have promoted just to put better gear on everybody, but
we were wondering about that if you were going to do that. But okay, so you made it through, and now about 5 minutes after, Dangwu has made it through. GG's, Dangwu.
Oh, GG's. Oh, man.
You didn't tell me about the nuke swords, man.
I had 2 of them.
I had none of them.
One of them was in Earth, which I knew you didn't check, and the other one was in the floating castle, and you didn't check that one, so I wasn't going to tell you.
Yeah.
I full cleared like the entire game. I'll take 5 minutes behind you.
It was impressive. Yeah, you checked everything. There was a point after... So Caleb got the Earth Crystal first, and that put him ahead just by a little bit, and then you quickly posted 2 crystals up after, and you had a lead there for a little while. That bled off as you were checking chests. I kind of asked the question... I asked the question of Caleb about whether or not he would have done fighter, knowing that the nuke swords were out there instead of doing the black belt strats that he did. The reverse of that is the question for you. You made these fade and nuke swords work, but knowing what you know now, would you have just skipped it and gone black belt instead?
No, because I like the armor that the knight has. Like, it just, as a meat shield for the ninja, I like it. So, I like fighter thief. And then, the only reason why I wanted the tail so badly, because temper was hidden. That was the only reason why, and good thing I went for it, because I don't think the chaos would have allowed me to cast enough nukes to kill him.
He was beefy. If you go back and watch the video again, Caleb did get through with a very lucky 779 damage from the black belt, and that was what finished him off. I think if you'd gone full damage with just your fades and your nuke swords, I think you might have been able to carry the day.
Yeah, actually, now that I say that, now that you mention it, I probably could have, now that you say that. But, Kraken first turn nukes, high rolls, my black mage, and I was just like, okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah, I think Kraken had I was running through the seafloor, and Dang says, "You better not done. I'm on your heels now." And I was like, "Oh, you're in Topher?" And he's like, "Yep." And I was like, "Ah, crap." So I was gonna go right up until the spike tile with the Kraken and stop and then heal up, and I misjudged it and ended up just disrespecting Kraken and walking right in, and was able to one round him because he had what, like 400 or 500 HP.
Yeah, you low roll punched him, but even the low roll punch was still enough to take him out for like 400 damage.
Oh, I hate you. Yeah, he
Right.
first turn nuked me, killed one of my black mages, and I'm like, okay, well, there goes my whole idea of going all offense, which slowed me down a little bit.
I think he first turn punched my fighter and took him to half, but this was a wild seed, Chitin.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chitin. Thanks.
I did like finding both loose items pretty early, though. That made me feel good. And then it was just a matter of figuring out what was going to be zonked, and then every instant of location of the tri-state ended up bearing fruit. So
Yeah, the tri-state today was March locked.
okay.
So what really messed me up is for some reason I thought white shirt was incentive. So I found that loose white shirt and I counted it as my loose item. And then I found the white shirt later on again, and I'm like, wait a minute. That's supposed to be incentive. It's not supposed to show up in multiple copies. And then I found like 3 more of them on top of it. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, because I dove
you
Volcano.
sent me the flags, Dingu, so it was your fault technically.
We don't have time to read the flags, Chitin.
Yeah. We gotta go fast, Chitin, okay? We just hand out the flags, and then you guys do your thing, and we just act like act like we know that we read them and stuff. We didn't.
Hey, be glad I rolled you a jet one on this one.
What do you mean? The Gur imps were constantly like the most common encounter ever. Like I could not get away from them forever.
They were
It was
nasty.
just-
I
and
didn't see
then
them that much.
and then I made my marsh dive downwards, and I ran into gargoyles that hit like trucks and had paralyzing touch. That was my early marsh dive I did. And then what was the other thing that I kept finding?
Was you had problems with rates, if I remember correctly?
I had problems with wraiths.
Yeah, they wiped Caleb out of the ice cave a few times.
Oh yeah, it was great. He's like, "Oh, I hit level 9," and then like 3 minutes later, I hit level 9 again.
And then 3 minutes later, I hit level 9 again.
Yeah, that early game was pretty rough with the enemy comps that were there,
Mhm.
but it did feel like once you got through and got the ship, that seed opened like wide open.
Yeah, once I got the boat and I went and found Elfland with the white mages and the Fade and walls, I was like, okay, so I'm changing out Cheese and Cyranus, and they're gonna be my white mages. And then I was really torn, man. I was really torn about who was going to become my black belt, because I wanted the fighter because I had decent gear for him, and I knew I did the head math and knew that Slab would eventually turn into Masa. So I forgot about the crown, but I remembered that the Masa was all I needed to find, and I was like, all right, well, fighter's going to get that before I walk into Topher, and I knew I couldn't give up my black mage because of fast, so it was one of my whites that had to be flipped.
What levels did you go in, Caleb?
My black belt was like 35. Everybody else was like mid-20s.
Where'd you grind at?
I grinded in ice with just my fighter to get him enough health to be able to walk out.
Yeah, I think you went to 17 on him.
Yeah, I went until I ran out of heal pots, and then I took the black belt to like 33 on Agamas, and everybody else just leveled as I finished.
Wait. Let me get this straight. You grinded on the eye tile, right?
Mhm.
I'm assuming. And you managed to get through that trap, or the spike tile dropping down without getting...
I got turn order on that spike tile.
Oh, I hate you. I hate
Yeah.
you.
I got initiative, and I was able to first turn run, and then I hit that zero run, and I hit like maybe one encounter,
Yeah.
and it wasn't bad.
Yeah, from basically past the ice damage tiles on that floor all the way through to the end of that dungeon, he was total hero.
I mean, I didn't have like a horrible time through there, but like that spike tile managed to lawn ornament at least one person every single time, and I could not imagine trying to do that with one person.
Yeah, it was my like 5th time hitting that spike tile, so I kind of knew what to expect.
Ugh. I mean, at level 17, that's not like a lot of magic defense to
No.
avoid that touch either.
I think he had ice armor, silver bracer, and silver shield.
Yeah, you had the element defense on your fighter during that time when you were running out of ice.
Oh, so then I really liked my play. Sorry about that, Dark Moon. So I wanted to dive, and I wanted to do the Sea Shrine. So I'm doing Sea Shrine, and I know he's somewhere else. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to kill whatever's in Sea Shrine. I get all the way down to where Kraken usually is, and a lobster backline crits for 200 damage and kills one of my black mages. And I'm like, well, we're going to run away now, because I don't have enough casters now.
Yeah, I did see you, like, get all the way down, and then suddenly you're walking back out, and I'm sitting there going, why are you leaving?
Thanks, Strats.
It was, if I ran into Kraken, I have 2 Lit 3 casters, and I'm hoping that, Kraken rolls low enough where my front line can at least absorb a couple hits, and Lit 3 with a Quad X might be able to kill him. I said, okay, we're going to go for it. And if it's a Tiamat, might be a little more difficult, but we'll give it a go. Because I think I had, some other stuff I could have done. Carry and Lich would have been just fine, too. No, instead, a lobster crits. And I swear Chitin just rolled this thing where every single monster was critting on me.
It was good to get another seed with some adversity early on. I don't think we've had a seed this adverse in the beginning since the first race we did on Speed Gaming with the quad white mages.
That was delightful. That was absolutely delightful. So,
of course he would say that, right, Caleb? He's not the one playing.
Yeah, right.
It was fantastic to watch.
My Tiamat fight in the Earth Cave was especially harrowing because I thought I was going to wipe out, and then the Quad X got through. And
if you go back and watch the restream, Kite and I were discussing who could be down there and what the worst case scenario would be, because you guys had like Lit 3s and so forth, and I didn't think, even with how hard he can hit, I wasn't sure Kraken would be that big of a deal for you with low scaling. But I'm like, worst case scenario is they find Tiamat, and I'm not certain they have the equipment and spells to do that. And then Tiamat showed up.
Yeah, luckily I had the 2 Fade casters. Like the Knight was like punched out round 1. I got a couple fades off. Quad X wasn't working, and then White Mage got punched out, and I was like, all right, well, I got to stop trying to do ruse or whatever and just go ham with the fades and Quad X, and it went through.
It did, barely, but it went.
Yeah, Quad X, best spell. When you absolutely, positively have to kill something with fewer than 300 HP.
So, Caleb, you're now 6-4 right now.
I know, dang. This is the biggest lead you've let me get.
Look,
but not the biggest lead that one of us has had. You were up 3 games to 0.
What
happened, dang?
I'm in your zone. This unclamped thing is like your specialty. I mean.
It is true. The first 3 games you played, we had clamped bosses, and that was suiting the Dane strats better. And it seems like we've at least evened out the 2 of you much better with the unclamped.
Yeah, I'm 6-1 with these flags.
That is the question. Is there anything you would want to change about the scaling before we go into like the actual live turn?
We can give Dang a 5-minute head start next time. I'm kidding.
Wow, I just heard the mic drop and everything. Okay, well, on that note, thanks everybody for coming by Speed Gaming. We're gonna mute all the sound here while I have a little chat with Caleb right now.
What?
I'm just kidding, buddy.
Are there any final thoughts you guys have before we wrap this up?
No, this is fun.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna talk over Caleb at this point. The fans out there, thanks for watching. I hope you all support me, not that Caleb guy. I'm just kidding. I really love Caleb. Thank you, Darkmoon, for doing this. Kite, I hope you enjoyed, what you've seen and stuff like that. The flags are a lot of fun. If anybody ever wants to run them and stuff like that, more than welcome. It's a lot of fun. So, thank you, everybody. I hope to
take those flags, man, and I hated you for it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You gave me the one fiend I really was preparing for and created my party.
But yeah, I just hope a lot of people come and support us when we go to this SG Live event. It's going to be a lot of fun, and Caleb and I are going to hopefully put on the best show that we can for everybody.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you, Dark Moon and Chitin, for doing comms. Thank you, Danny, for tracking. Thank you, Speed Gaming, for hosting us every week. This is a ton of fun. I know I give Dang a hard time, but I really admire him as a runner, and I think I couldn't be happier with a weekly rival. Because I win.
With that note said right there, Dark Moon, any last words before we wrap this up?
Yeah, as Caleb said, I want to thank our runners, Caleb and Ding. Make sure you guys follow them on Twitch if you don't already. Make sure to give a follow to our lovely crew here in attendance, including Chitin619 and Danny3883. Danny is our regular tracker on these events going forward, and I appreciate her being here for us every week after week. This has been the Road to SG Live, a presentation of Final Fantasy Randomizer over here on Speed Gaming. Thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting us. We're going to continue doing these throughout the next couple months, and weekly in the lead up to Speed Gaming Live, where we are at the marathon. And we hope to see you here every week, and then there at the marathon. From all of us here at the Final Fantasy Randomizer community, thank you and good night.
Good night, and may your moves be critical.